Hola amigos, ¿bien o qué? Bienvenidos otra vez desde Medellín. Hoy, día 38, day 38. Y como yo prometí ayer, leyendo para practicar mi español y también para demostrar contigo cómo yo preparar o cómo yo utilizar um, los libros para leer en voz alta para mejorar mi voz en español y también para mejorar mi entendimiento con vocabulario y la lengua en general. Listo. Entonces, ese es la nueva libro. Y otra vez, gracias por la gente en la biblioteca Comfama por su ayuda. Muy bien, es un super libro. Entonces, Bill Gates, ¿cómo evitar un desastre climático? How to avoid a climate disaster. Entonces, primero voy a leer el primero dos parágrafos, solo para demostrar. El técnico más o menos es para leer un parágrafo completo, sin pausa. Y después para notar algunas palabras nuevos, algunas frases nuevos, algo que está un poco confundir. Y continuar por el segundo parágrafo, también notar algo nuevo, etc. Y finalmente, fin de la página más o menos, vuelve y como un corto, como dice, una summary, un resumen con las parágrafos en total, no necesariamente una traducción, pero un resumen más o menos que dice en este parágrafo. Listo. Entonces, capital número 1. ¿Por qué cero? La razón por la que necesitamos llegar a las cero emisiones es sencilla. Los gases de efecto invernadero atrapan el calor, lo que ocasiona que la temperatura media de la superficie terrestre aumente. Cuanto mayor es la cantidad de estos gases, más sube la temperatura. Y una vez que se liberan en la atmósfera, permanecen allí mucho tiempo. Cerca de la quinta parte del dióxido del carbono emitido hoy persistirá dentro de 10.000 años. Listo, ese es el primer parágrafo. That's the first paragraph. Con este primer parágrafo, yo notar algunas palabras poco nuevas. From this, I've looked at a few words that were a bit new, and I thought, I wonder what they mean. So, I have sencilla. Por las cero emisiones es sencilla. Y invernadero. Los gases de efecto invernadero atrapan el calor. Invernadero aumente. I can remember what that was. Aumente. De la superficie terrestre aumente. So I look them back up, and there we go. So sencilla, simple. Invernadero is a greenhouse. Aumente is increase. Okay, so looking at that, con estas yo puedo buscar con este parágrafo en total y más o menos tomar un resumen muy básico como él dice. Listo. Y continúa por el segundo parágrafo, ¿no? Ninguna hipótesis realista prevé que continuemos añadiendo carbono a la atmósfera sin que el mundo siga calentándose. Y cuanto más se caliente, más difícil será para los humanos sobrevivir, por no hablar de prosperar. No sabemos con exactitud cuánto daño ocasionaría un aumento determinado de la temperatura, pero no sobran motivos para preocuparnos. Además, dado que los gases de efecto invernadero perviven tanto tiempo en la atmósfera, las altas temperaturas del planeta se mantendrán hasta mucho después de que lleguemos a las cero emisiones. Otra vez voy a buscar por otras nuevas palabras. En este caso, prevé. Ninguna hipótesis realista prevé que continuemos, etc. Y añadiendo. Continuemos añadiendo carbono a la atmósfera. Okay, so we look these up. Y para prevé tengo más o menos dos opciones. Puede ser prever, o foresee, o predict, o puede ser algo versión con prevenir, to prevent, to warn, or prepare. Pero ¿cuál es? So por eso yo necesito vuelve por el oración completo para mirar el contexto, para entender cuál es el mejor elección. So I have to look at which one of these possible translations, I've got 4 or 5 here, that could fit. And the only way really to look at this is to go back to the whole sentence completely, look at the whole context and see which one fits best. So when you reread the sentence, the one that fits best is predict. So no realistic hypothesis that predicts the continuing addition of carbon into the atmosphere without the world continuing to heat up. Yeah, that's a rough translation of what we've got. Okay, so you can see from this that that's how we do it really. So we read aloud, so leer en voz alta para practicar la voz. We look for any new words, nota algunas nuevas palabras, y vuelve para resumen cortico con algunos con los parágrafos. And we go back, quickly give a quick summary of what we've read in the paragraph, and then we move on to the next one, Yeah? The other thing to note as well, sometimes we can note not just words that we think are new, we don't understand, but sometimes we might spot a phrase that's commonly used that might be useful for us to use in the future. So like this one, por no hablar, something we're not talking about, or después de. Yeah? So like a useful phrase, you start spotting patterns where the words are put together more commonly, and that's going to be a useful phrase because that's something that's used more generally in the language, regardless of context. So we summarize each paragraph as we go, look for any new words or phrases, but generally as we're doing the reading we don't stop because there's a new word. So we read the whole paragraph all the way through to try and get more practice with the reading, and then we can go back, note down the words we missed. This is why again we're only really looking to read a paragraph at a time, not the whole page, because it's easier for us to go back and note the words we didn't quite understand. The other thing to remember generally when you're trying to do this game of what does that word mean, more often than not your first guess is generally right, particularly if you look at it within the context of the sentence as a whole. So if I look back at this sentence, ninguna hipótesis realista prevé que continuemos añadiendo carbono a la atmósfera sin que el mundo siga calentándose, I could probably give a reasonable guess at what prevé meant just from the context. And usually your first guess is normally pretty correct. But obviously it's good to look them up, but just a sense of as you progress with the reading you're starting to get a much wider vocabulary, which is why we're using the reading to amplify the vocabulary we come into contact with, not just the words we use in our day-to-day, but this is the way for us to really widen our vocabulary. We're going to see a lot more words and hopefully some of these will stick And this should help our guess when we're trying to work out what the things are about. Now, you might say, okay, well, that's great. So you're reading this aloud and you feel comfortable doing that. But how do I know that my sound is okay? How do I know what I'm saying is a good pronunciation or not? All right, that's a fair point. The other thing you can use in some cases, sometimes the books come as audio books. So you can read the print version and then play back the audio version and use that as a guide to help you. Or again, we can go back and use podcasts that have transcripts or closed captions. Listen to the first minute or so, run it back, look at the captions, maybe take note of the captions so you can actually basically reread it back out, read it out loud. And then you've always got the podcast to listen back to help you correct yourself on how you sound. So some combination of the two should help you quite a bit. But certainly, yeah, noting the new phrases, that's going to help as well, because again, we're looking for patterns. All right, so that's our update quickly for today. Obviously, I'm going to continue on working through that chapter paragraph by paragraph, but that's to show you basically how I do it. So in that short paragraph, I found, 5 new words, 2 maybe useful phrases. So, okay, not too bad, yeah? All right, so I hope you found that useful. Déjame saber en los comentarios. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I hope it's helpful for you. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a splendid weekend. Take care and see you soon. Cheerio for now.